Hi guys. Today we chat with the South Florida representative of Chen style Tai Chi practical method. He has been involved in the martial arts for over 40 years, and in that time has practiced other arts that he has added to his repertoire. Of those, it is Goju Ryu Karate that he has focused most on. Always striving to propagate the practical style, he has taught many students the value that it brings both physically and mentally. Please welcome Sifu Raul Pujol. How are you
Hi.
today, sir?
Very good. I'm very good. Thank you.
Thank you for being here, sir. Thank you for being here. I'm very honored.
It's a pleasure. Yeah.
Good. So let's go ahead and get straight into the interview. Sifu, how did you get started in the martial arts?
Well, when I was in school, not quite high school yet, I started practicing judo. And my teacher was Gerardo Chiu, was a Chinese Cuban who was a student of Takahama Sensei in Havana. And I started studying with him. I studied for about 2, maybe 3 years, judo. And then I discovered karate, and it was Okinawan Goju Ryu of the Shoreikan school. And my teacher was Nobuharu Shinoda. This was in San Juan, Puerto Rico, where I used to live at that time. Other of my teachers were Kimo Wall and also Kowloon Ong. They were my teachers in the karate, in the Okinawan Goju Ryu Karate school. Later on in 1985, that's when I became a first degree black belt in Okinawan Goju Ryu. I also started practicing Tai Chi at that time, the Yang style, which basically was the most available style of Tai Chi. We all knew that there was something called Chen style, but nobody was teaching it. But later, in 1988, I started learning the Chen style. My teacher was also my Yang style teacher. His name is Ramon Korf. And with him, I started learning also the Chen style. Then I studied with another teacher, Humberto Pomales, the Chen style. And later on, I became a disciple of Chen Shonghua, of the Chen style Tai Chi Chuan practical method, also known as the Hong Pai or the Hong school of the Chen style Tai Chi Chuan. And I have been his student disciple ever since. I've also studied with other teachers of the same lineage, mainly Asnoab Waserang. He is located in Chile, and he has studied several years in China. He's from the same Hong Pai lineage. I also practice another version of the Chen style, which was developed by Master Feng Shixian, who was a disciple of Chen Fake, and the name he gave to his style is the Hong Yuan Tai Chi Chuan. And so I practiced those two versions of the Chen style, plus the Yang style, which was the original Tai Chi style that I learned. Aside from that, in the Chinese martial arts, I've been also learning and practicing at Xin Yi Xuan.
Oh, nice. So really, you started with Goju Ryu and then went into Tai Chi after that.
Well, judo, then Goju Ryu, and then Tai Chi. Yeah.
It was first Japanese martial arts and then into the Chinese martial arts.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay. So in actuality, it's two different Chen styles that you practice. You said Hon Pai and Hon Yun.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Nice. I'm learning. I was under the impression that it was only the Hon Yun that you practiced.
The Hong Pai.
No idea.
Well, no. I do the Hong Yuan Tai Chi, which was developed by Master Feng Shixian, and also the Hong Pai, which was developed by Hong Yunshen. Both of them were disciples of Chen Fake in Beijing.
Okay, so they're similar.
They have some similarities, but they're also different. They have different features.
Oh, okay.
But they come from the same grandmaster, which was Chen Fake.
Okay. So really, it's really two students from Chen Fake. They just interpreted things differently, and so their styles.
Yeah, well, they also studied under Chen Fake in different periods of time. Like, for example, Hong Jun Shen studied between 1930 through 1944. Then this was in Beijing. Then he went to Jinan in the Shandong province, where he was from, and he taught there. He continued to practice what he had learned from Chen Fake and was also teaching. Then in 1956, he went back to visit Chen Fake and had Chen Fake check on his form and the way he had interpreted what he had learned. And he received the approval of Chen Fake. And Chen Fake called it that your moves are very practical. That's why it's also known as a practical method. But that's how he called it. But we also call it the Hong Pai or the Hong School, which is Hong Jun Shen's interpretation of the Chen style Tai Chi Chuan. Then the other master, Feng Xixian, he studied with Chen Fake between 1950 and 1957. So two different periods of times in which the art was taught somewhat differently. So in Hong's styles, you see one interpretation, and in Feng styles, another one. But I love both. I cannot tell you that it's one is better than the other. I love both. They're different in certain ways, similar in others, and I love them both.
I love that. That's a great answer. You can't choose between the two. Oh, that's great. But at the end of the day, they're both Tai Chi. So they do have
absolutely, yeah,
underlying principles that are the same, right?
The underlying principles are the same. Yeah.
That's great. So since we're speaking about the two different Chen styles and if they're about their similarities, let's stay on that whole theme of similarities, right? Because you also practice Goju Ryu Karate. Yeah. So, are there similarities between your Tai Chi and your Goju Ryu Karate?
There may be certain things. I mean, it's the same human body doing the arts, and the human body can move in so many ways. So there will always be certain things in common, but also at the same time, they're very different, two totally different approaches to body motion, the mechanics, and applications, and all that. Goju Ryu is an external art, even though it does have some internal elements, especially as you become more advanced in it. But it's a different way of moving than Tai Chi. Tai Chi is there's more of the internal going on, and the body mechanics are somewhat different.
Okay. So they're not so much more similarities, but they're more differences than there would be.
I would say that you will always, in any, if you see the martial arts in general, you will always find certain similarities because it's the same human body doing it. And as I said, the human body can move so many ways, so there will always be certain similarities. But in terms of the approach, the use of force, the body mechanics is it's different. It's different.
Okay. Yeah, granted, good answer. So
I did practice the Goju Ryu many years. I still practice it occasionally, but my main focus is Tai Chi Chuan.
If you don't mind me asking, what level did you get to with the Goju Ryu?
5th degree black belt.
Wow. So I have no knowledge, but there's usually a title that's given like to different levels of black belts, right? Like Godan, Judan, or I don't
Well,
know.
Godan means a fifth dan in
Oh,
Japanese.
that's what it means. Okay, go down. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. Godan means fifth dan. Yeah.
All right. So that's what you, oh, fifth degree black belt.
And there are other titles given to different ranks, like Renshi, Hanshi, different. But they're like more of teaching titles. But
Okay.
essentially, I'm just a fifth degree black belt in Okinawan Goju Ryu.
I'm
And
just a fifth degree
I
black
still
belt.
practice it occasionally, but my main day-to-day practice is in the Tai Chi Chuan.
You know, Sifu Raul, I love how modest you are. I'm just a fifth degree black belt. That's a mighty high accomplishment right there, Sifu.
Well,
Don't worry. You have my respect. Trust me, you have my respect to even get that far. Because in terms
it
of
goes
Japanese,
both ways.
my personal experience with Japanese martial arts is with Uechi Ryu, and not
That's
too far.
a very fine karate system from Okinawa also.
It's not that far different from Goju Ryu. I got it. Not that
No,
far.
it's not too different from Goju Ryu. I would say that among the different styles of Okinawan karate, it would be like probably the closest to Goju Ryu.
Uechi
Yeah.
Ryu, yeah, that's it. Yeah, I did it for probably a few months, but I enjoyed every single minute of it. I will tell you that.
Okay, yeah, good.
And I enjoyed every minute of it. Okay, so let's go ahead and move on. So we're going into our third question, Steve, right? Knowing that the term kung fu literally means skill that's acquired over time, right?
Yeah.
I have to ask, what do you, in your opinion, believe is the hardest part of developing someone's kung fu, say for the martial arts or Tai Chi or so?
I would say discipline, consistency in your practice, making it part of your daily life, and also this concept called drinking bitter. The relentless training in the fundamental movements. I think that's very important, and that's how you develop the kung fu. You have to practice. You have to keep on practicing. You have to be you have to make it part of your daily life, and that's how you develop it. It's not something like just for the weekends or once or twice a month. No, I would say that to develop real kung fu, you have to first of all make it part of your daily life, and also you have to challenge yourself, and also try a little harder every day. One of my teachers of the Goju Ryu Karate, he had this motto that was train hard, train often. So I would say that's basically the secret. Train hard and train often. Challenge yourself. Try to always go to your limits and maybe a little bit more. Of course, taking into consideration whatever limitations you may have given to age and other factors that are realities of life, but just go for it.
All right. That's the greatest answer. Just eat bitter and just keep going, right?
Exactly. Yeah. It's just understand what you're doing, understand the body dynamics, study applications, train with partners like the Tui Show and things like that. It's and also just challenge yourself. Don't let go easily. Just keep challenging yourself every day, and try to every day do a little bit better.
That's awesome. That's an awesome answer. That's a philosophy for life. Period.
Yeah, for life in
Not just
general, it's you use it for the martial arts, but anything in life that you do is ruled by the same principle.
Yes.
Be the best you can be in whatever it is that you're doing.
Yes. I think that's the second time I've actually heard that saying. It's funny, and it's always it was an older teacher that I had interviewed before who had said the same thing. You said drink bitter. He said eat bitter. So it's the same thing. It's the same exact thing.
Well, yeah,
And
you can
I love the
eat
concept.
something bitter, and you can drink something bitter. The important thing is the bitterness, meaning that it's like, for example, when you begin learning Tai Chi, the most difficult and tedious part is the beginning, where you are learning how to move, and you have to repeat a lot of the basic movements, and it can be boring and it can be tedious, and that's part of drinking bitter. It can also, like if you hold low positions, it can become painful, but that's how you make progress. That's how you increase your kung fu.
That's great. There's no way around it.
There's no way around it. You have to do it. It's the only way you can do it. It's not about
awesome.
thinking about it. It's not meditating about it. You have to actually get down and do it.
Yes, this is true. This is true.
Well, you know that. You know that.
Of course, of course. So for any younger martial artist who is actually seeing this interview and watching this interview, you guys have got to understand that there is no way around it. You have to eat the bitter. You can't just have sweet all the time. It's possible.
It's like I remember this interview that was done of Muhammad Ali, and he would somebody asked him, "How many sit-ups do you do?" And he said, "Well, I begin counting them when it begins to hurt." So the first number of sit-ups, he wouldn't even count them. When it began to hurt, that's when he began to count them. That's another way of eating bitter or drinking bitter. You see, like train hard, train often, challenge yourself. Go out of the comfort zone. Don't stay in the comfort zone. That's the only way to improve and to develop your kung fu.
All of this is great advice. All of this is great advice to the newer generation that is watching, that's listening, or so on. And speaking of the new generation, right? If you could teach them just one thing, right? Technique, philosophy, you choose. Just one thing. What would it be?
Technique or philosophy?
Yeah.
I think that they are so integrated. Like when you teach martial arts, traditional martial arts, you cannot really separate the two things that you just mentioned, like totally, because you have to, for example, in the Chinese martial arts, there's this thing called Wu De, which is the martial morality. And if you're going to be teaching somebody something that could be potentially harmful if used wrongly with another person, it would be irresponsible not to teach them the Wu De, the martial morality. So one thing has to go with the other. One thing gives you physical power, but you also have to develop the mind to temper that power with control. Seek peace. Don't go to war just like that. Seek peace. If you can solve a conflict by dialogue, it's better than any other way. It's like if you have, so yes, people will be developing a skill that can be used for self-defense in case it's necessary, but you have to also develop a sense of control, and the teaching of the philosophy accomplishes that. So I would not teach one without the other. I would not, I think it would be irresponsible just to teach the physical skills without ever attempting to teach anything about the morality. I think that both are important. Because it's like you're developing your body, you're learning techniques, you're learning to move in certain ways that are useful for self-defense, also for health and to feel better and be a better person. But you cannot really, I would not attempt to divorce one from the other. They would have to go hand in hand. So I'm sorry, I cannot say either or. It has to be both. In my case, it has to be both.
I believe that is a great answer. I believe that is a
Well,
great
it's
answer. The
I
way
think
how
it's you know, you take a young man and or woman and you teach them skills that can be used for self-defense with could potentially harm another person. But if you don't teach them that you should not use that lightly, that you should not, you know, go around bullying people or things like that, you know, you can create a problematic situation with that. So you have to give them a sense of, you have to educate the younger generation into correct thinking, in moral thinking. And that developed with the skills, it's the perfect combination. I don't see it any other way. Because I mean, you're responsible. It's like, let's say you teach somebody a deadly skill and that person harms another human being with that deadly skill that you taught them. Indirectly, you would be responsible for that harm. So it's so you have to, if you're teaching a certain skill to a young person, it's also your responsibility to teach them how to think correctly, how to act correctly, how, you know, you have to help them know the difference between good and evil. And I think you cannot do without that. Yeah.
all right, all right. You know, I believe that to be absolutely true. I agree with you on that one, Steve. Now, what's funny, it's when you actually said that, I thought about the creator or the founder of Goju Ryu Karate, right? One of the reasons why he left China and went back to Japan was because he had a student who got into a fight and killed somebody, right? So he had to close his school, right, and leave the country and went back to Japan. And for a time after moving back to Japan, he didn't teach, right, because he felt, you know, personally responsible for his
Yeah.
student killing
Yeah.
somebody. So
Yeah. Yeah.
I understand, but it definitely hits a nerve. I understand what you're talking about, right? When I
Yeah. Yeah.
hear
Yeah.
that story. Wow. And about your answer to that question, I believe it's a masterful answer, because if you could teach one thing to a new generation of martial artists, for me, the way how I interpreted your answer was, I would teach them Wudo, right?
Yeah.
Because as you said, it's teach them all these physical techniques. It really is. It's like giving somebody a loaded gun, and not
Exactly.
teaching them, hey, don't shoot, because if you don't shoot somebody, you might kill them, and all of that.
Well,
Give
you
them
have
all the
all these
precautions.
situations with crazy people shooting others for no reason. You know, it's that's a you know, it's crazy. You know, it's like what were they thinking when they did that? You know, what kind of moral thought they had? You know, there's something lacking there. There's something lacking there. You cannot provide somebody with the ability to exert deadly force without educating the person into correct and moral thinking, because then it's like it's crazy. It's crazy. It can lead to tragedy, and that's something that we want to avoid.
That's a great answer as well. That is a great answer as well, Sifu. Thank you very much for that insight. So I have one more question for you now.
Okay.
How can you be contacted, Sifu Raul?
Okay. I have a phone number, 786-717-8255. 8411.
All right.
You
Email?
can call me. You can leave me a message if you want. Email is rpm731@yahoo.com.
Okay. Anything for social media, Sifu?
Well, I have a page in Facebook, and I have like my personal page, but I also open another, like it's like a, I don't know how you call it. It's it's a page. It's called Classical Martial Arts Research Center.
That's good.
Classical Martial Arts Research Center, and there I share martial arts content of all kinds. It's not geared to any particular national martial arts culture. Anything that I find appealing, I share it there, and you can also put things there that you may want to put. I think you have put things there too.
Yes, I have actually.
Yeah. So yeah, of course. So it's that's a page where I share content. Yeah.
No problem. Martial arts in general on that page.
Anything that's interesting, I put it there.
All right, no problem. All right, so information for Sifu Raul Pujol will be in the description down below. Also in the description down below will be a link for FeiYue shoes. If you need FeiYue shoes, go ahead and give that link a click, right? For the best prices, the best deals. Oh,
I use them. They're
FeiYue
really
shoes.
good and good price. And
All right, see.
They're very durable. Yeah, they're good.
Sifu Raul endorses FeiYue shoes as well.
Yeah.
All right, no problem. Hey, Sifu Raul, I have to thank you very much for this time that you have taken to speak with me today, sir.
It was a pleasure. I also would like to thank you for this opportunity to speak with you, and whoever may go in to watch this. You know, and
No problem.
Really appreciate it. And yes, I'm here.
Thank you very much. Everybody, if you want to check out the Chen style practical method, go ahead. Details for Sifu Raul Pujol will be in the description. Just go ahead and give him a call. All right, Sifu, thank you very much for your time.